Welcome, fellow Druids, to another episode of Full Circle. Today, what I want to talk about is list build a component of list building. Now that we're in Theme Force land, pretty definitively, I entitled this episode purposefully. It's not all about free points. I decided to talk about this a little bit because I've seen a lot of chatter on forums and Facebook, Twitter, pretty much everywhere, talking about how if you can't maximize your free points, that you're just playing down points on your opponent. And while in the strictest sense of the definition of that, that's true, right? If trying to think of a good example, if a mercenaries player can get, you know, the most egregious version. So there's a Callous list with Ogryns that can theoretically get 29 free points right now if he takes nothing but a battle group of Blight Wasps. They can get 29 free points. I've put the list together. You can do it. You can get 29 free points to that Callous list. However, that Callous list then only has Blight Wasps and Blighted Ogryns in it, and he needs to make that work. And I'm sure some people will or could. I don't think it's an optimal list by any means. On the other hand, you know, you could go as far as to just flat out not play a theme and you won't get any free points, right? The first thing I want to sort of disavow the notion of is that with theme forces you're getting free points. Just stop. And this is my opinion. I think this will help you. Stop analyzing entirely what the free points are. It does not matter what the number is next to the card. It's effectively, you get a free card. Almost always, it's a single card you will get for free. It's frequently a single model, or at most like two, right? If you look through the benefits of every theme, most of the time it is a command attachment, which is 1 to 2 models, a solo, which is essentially just one model. There's some exceptions, but most of them are just going to be a single model. Light Warbeasts and Warjacks, again, single model. I'm missing one. Sometimes command attachment, solo. There's some weapon crews that you can get. Again, you're looking at a single card. It's a single, and weapon crews are not too dissimilar from a solo, anyways. So you're getting a free card is what you should be thinking about it as. And that's the first thing that will help you get to the point that you're getting, right? So if for example, you are playing in, let's say you want to build a Secret Masters list, right? And this is frequently one of the first things people complain about. They're like, well, I can't really get enough out of my benefits, right? All right, I don't get enough free points, or I can't build the list in such a way to get free points. Theme forces aren't necessarily designed so that you're just maximizing free points. That's not their purpose, right? Their purpose is to give you choices and meaningful benefits and possibly while like costing you other things, right? So in Secret Masters, for example, you can play 60 points of Blackclads. What you're probably giving up is more armor cracking capability, right? That's a trade-off you're choosing to make. That is intentional. A lot of people look at that as sort of like a bug in that theme force. It's not. That is a design, an intent in design. At least I'm relatively certain that it is. Obviously, I don't work at Privateer, so I'm not sure. But it seems that that's intentional design. So don't go into this list building going like, well, I can't give very many free points, so this theme force is bad. It's not the right, in my all this is my opinion, that's not the right way to approach list building. I think what you want to do is go, what do I want my list to do? Or I want to try out this model unit, or how do these benefits help me out, right? It's certainly not all about getting free points into your list. In fact, I would argue that there's, we'll talk Bones of Orboros, for example. In Bones of Orboros, Blackclad Stone Shapers are one of the common solos that you're going to absolutely want to play. And the other options that you can get for free are basically the Druid Wilder, who's 4 points, and the Blackclad Wayfarer, who's 4 points. The Stone Shapers are 3 points. However, when we sit and look at it, and you go, this is a Bones of Orboros list, if you were going to talk about maximizing your benefits, right, maximizing what that theme can do, yeah, I think the Wayfarer is a strong solo in a lot of cases. However, I think that in many instances, it could be the thing that is less required than those Stone Shapers. I think those Stone Shapers are absolutely critical to that theme, right? So if you can, and if you think about it, you could build your theme in such a way that you get those for free, and possibly the best way to build out after that is going to be not taking them, right? Or maybe you take only one Wayfarer and you take 2 Stone Shapers. I've built some lists like that, for example. But in other cases, right, like, just to keep using Bones as an example, Bones of Orboros, you could, if you wanted to, get 4 free cards. And that is a great benefit. To do that, it means you probably are foregoing Shifting Stones entirely. So you better hope that with your 4 free cards that you're getting, you have to realize you're basically foregoing a unit in many of your lists, or it's only going to be Swamp Gobbers. You might get a unit of Shifting Stones with some Warlocks, and more on that in a second. And you better hope that you have all your other bases covered with the scenario between the Battle Engine and your battle group, because that's all you're going to get. I would argue most of those lists are worse for not having Shifting Stones in them, or 2 units of Shifting Stones in some cases, than they are, and some possibly even for not having like a Sentry Stone in it or something like that, than you are if you just took them and then forwent one of those free cards, right? Yeah, you won't get your Wayfarer for free, you only get your Stone Shapers for free, or maybe you won't get 2, you'll get your 2 Wayfarers and a Stone Shaper free, and you have to pay for the other ones. But that's still going to be a stronger list. And that's what you need to be thinking about when you're building your list. What do I need? What is the list intent? What am I building around, right? And build from there. And then look at what your options are for free cards. Look at how you can, if you're really close, right? Let's say you're at, you're in Devourer's Host, for example, and you're at 38 points. So for example, my Unit 2 list, I play 2 units of Wolf Riders, and when you add them up, they're 18 points apiece, so they're 36 points. That would give me 1 free card. However, I'm at 1 solo away from getting another free card. So it behooves me to do that. So now I can take a Night Witch and I get at the very least 2 free solos where I pay for that Night Witch, or I take a unit of Bloodweavers and then I have an extra 4 points and I get 2 Night Witches, something like that. There's a lot of different ways to do that. It's a very advantageous approach to how to build that list. So look for things like that, right? Don't stop and go like, oh, if I can like tweak my list to get like 1 more solo in some way, I'm gonna get a bonus, right? In Secret Masters, you could do that by having 2 Fulcrums, and then you're gonna get 1 free card just for having 2 Fulcrums, and you're like, well, how's this gonna work? Well, if you have Shifting Stones, it may actually just make sense to take a Stonekeeper who's 2 points, and that will net you 2 free Blackclad Wayfarers, for example. Which may make sense. Whereas, like, you may take, 2 units of Mist Riders, just going to straight up give you 2. So look at what you're building and why you're building it, and don't get so focused on like, I'm not getting free cards. If the game were all about maximizing the number of points that we play, we should start every list with Kaya 1 because she has 32 Warbeast points. Kaya 1 in Call of the Wild theoretically gets the most points we could possibly field. She gets, we could take Lord of the Feast as one of our free options. She could take she can take 100 points of War Beast, exactly 100 points of War Beast. That will leave her with 7 points left over that she can spend. She can take Lord of the Feast for free. She can take 2 Blackcloud Wayfarers for free. She can take Druid Wilder for free. She can then pay for 2 units of Shifting Stones and still get a Swamp Gobbler Chef. She could do that. I don't know if that's a good list. Is getting all of those free points better than playing, let's say, Kaya 3 in that same theme and only getting 3 free cards? Maybe somebody can build a Kaya 1 list that's really good like that, but in general, I sort of think that the Kaya 3 list is probably going to be better. Same thing, every list doesn't have Tanith. She has 31 points. Balder 1, 31 points. Balder 2, 30 points. Balder 2 is a pretty good caster, but still you get the point. It's not about the free points. It's about building a list that does what you need it to do. So focus on building a list that does what it needs to do. And focus on how, I'm going to get this many free cards out of playing this way. And I think you want to aim generally in most of the themes for getting 2. I think if you get to the point where you get 2 cards, you're probably building in a way that theme force is headed toward an optimal direction. I think if you are starting to get down to only 1 card, really consider it needs to be for a specific purpose. So I built a Chromac 2 list that I have yet to play, but it runs exactly 25 points of paid for Tharn models, and then I get 1 free 5-point solo. And that's 30 points. That gives Chromac 3 corpses, which was the purpose of doing it in the first place. And so in that case, I'm only getting 1 free card out of that, but that's exactly the number of cards I want. And I'm not sure that, it's debatable whether or not you want to play that over a Call of the Wild variation. In the same way, let's talk about Call of the Wild. So that Chromac list, again, I can maximize on benefits by taking as many. You can get 4 free cards and still Shifting Stones because of his War Beast points if you take as many cards as you want, or if you take a battle group that equals 100 points. However, we do have the Spirit Cauldron coming out, the minion model, that's minion unit rather, and that has the ability to give Chromac corpses, but it costs 5 points, and that means it will absolutely cost you a free card because he doesn't have 30 War Beast points. Is that going to be worth playing? Well, I certainly think it's worth testing, right? Because it means Chromac is just that much more efficient, right? He's already going to have corpses. It means he's going to have a guarantee of, let's see, 3 corpses, 7 fury, and the first initial. That's 11 attacks that he's guaranteed to have. Possibly more if you're going into infantry because he's going to kill one and get a corpse back. So is that worth it? It might be, right? You're basically giving him 3 more attacks is putting him in the neighborhood of being, half of a War Beast more of attacks, or more survivable, or it lets him have more utility. But you may lose out on a card. So it's something worth testing, but that doesn't mean that the list is worse because you decided to go that direction. It's just different. There's a lot of things like that, right, where the piece you need may not lead to more free points. Devourers is a great example. I think putting Death Wolves in a lot of them is going to be very advantageous to you. But they're 9 points that aren't going to contribute to your free points. You have to consider that. The same thing in Secret Masters. This is the one that I think gets the worst attention for this, and I think it's undeserved. And then, a lot of people are like, well, because I can't take my minions option. And granted, I think it would be cool if the minions counter for points in the list, but I can't really take my minion option because they cost too many points, and then I can't get enough druids, and then I can't get enough of this. I can't get, I'm like, well, focus on what you want to do. I think one of the best lists in that theme is Una 2 with 2 units of Mist Riders, which is only 40 points, 2 free cards, and then the rest you can use on your battle group or whatever else that makes sense. It's a really strong list. It does a lot of what Una wants to do. It does a lot of infantry clearing. It's a very good list. So not every list has to maximize on benefits, and some of them it makes sense to do it, right? So if like I said, we'll use Secret Masters again. If you want to maximize the benefits in that theme, you're probably giving up some hitting power somewhere down the line. And if that's your drop into things that you don't need a lot of hitting power, but you need a lot of killing, or you need a lot of control, or things like that, then great. It's going to be a solid list for you. If it's not, then you either need to back off the number of druids, the number of minions, or change something else up about it. Anyway, mostly what I want to focus on is looking at that. I think the takeaway here, or the TLDR, if you will, would be when you're building lists, don't just look at what the point total you're getting for free is and compare that to the point total your opponent is getting for free, because it doesn't work like that. Look at the things, try to maximize the free cards you can get when you can, but try to make sure that your list is still coherent and is working in the way that you want it to, and is doing what you need it to do. Even if that means considering not playing it in a theme at all. I think there still could be some viability potentially to that. But most of the time I think I like building in the theme, and like I said, I most of the time am aiming to get at least 2 free cards. And in some cases, 3, I think, is probably more optimal. Bones and Call of the Wild, I think you want to aim for always to get at least 3. So that's all for this episode. Thanks for watching.